Chat, the sales, the first 24 hours of sales for likes of this Rust store is not exactly looking super fun. Well, it's been a few more hours since then, but it's looking very, very tame this week. After all the Rust stores we had over the past couple of months, this is definitely one of the tamest. So I know a lot of you were sitting there saying that you weren't really that interested and whatnot. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm sure last night many of you probably would have seen the likes of, the typical Rust store rotation video. But with the likes of my predictions video, I do quite outright literally sit there and say which skins I'm more confident in based on order and whatnot. And with a very smart suggestion for the likes of Mr. Micro, he pointed out, well, don't you think you should go look back at all your predictions over the past year or so and just review yourself just to see if you were correct and whatnot? Not necessarily correct, but were you right to be cautious about certain things? Were you overly cautious for certain things? Did I make any mistakes? Did you? Feel free to comment below if you've been selling some skins recently. I have. I've maxed out certain accounts and whatnot, which I'm very happy for, knowing that, the inevitable bad months, such as September, October, November, are just around the corner. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and look at the likes of my Rust store rotation playlist, which has an absurd amount of yapping. But what we'll do is we can just quickly flick through all of them and just remind ourselves what were the skins during those weeks, and then we could just quickly go check and see what Hedge had. If you look at the description, there's always, usually in order of things, like what I'd chase after and whatnot. In the case of these Christmas skins, that was a little bit different, but should we just jump in now and remind ourselves of the past and see how things turned out? So let's go take a look at those Christmas skins right now. I believe this is Christmas week 1, so we'll do the past 6 or 7 months, half a year. So as I bring up the likes of Christmas, there we are. Christmas week 1. When we looked at all of these skins, and of course we still had Legacy Kevlar, which was very weird, I was like, guys, I'm sure a lot of you will be appreciating these skins. They're very nice. During Christmas, awesome. What happens when it's not Christmas? It looks like that. It looks like that. It looks like that. And we did review a whole lot of the things in regards to when might be the best time to jump in, and then when, what's the outlook from here and now. So I do basically talk about all of that here. I do basically talk about and discuss there was a CS2 major on the horizon. We're going to have Copenhagen and whatnot. I thought things were going to get really awkward. And I was very happy to see likes of the Christmas gang hoodie and pants spiking with the coat appearing. But I outright said, guys, don't expect any proper profit to be made with these until it's next Christmas. You always make more profit with the likes of Christmas theme skins in the lead up to the next Christmas. And unfortunately, with brand new skins, they inevitably just go down in price. So if I were to just quickly grab the likes of the Santa coat, very jolly, very, Christmassy themed, but what was its performance like? So right now, it's currently selling for 59 cents after selling for 99 cents in the Rust store, and it just went down. But as you might have noticed right here, it stops around March time, and then it slowly starts to rise up. People started to grab a few of them, and they're hiding them in their inventories. And once we get close to December, what will the price of that look like? So that basically is the theme of all Christmas theme skins. That one more specifically might work out a little bit better, we shall see. But yeah, we understood that around March, April time, they'd stop going down in price. That'd be the perfect time to jump in. And, well, that coincides with the Easter dip, so many skins did go down in price during those months, and we'll be bringing that back up in a bit as well, won't we? So that went as expected. That's perfectly fine. So, yeah, with what we assumed here, I'm sure a lot of people probably understood. I'm sure a lot of you just stuck with doing buy orders, lower price buy orders, I'd assume, and I hope you bought a bunch and you're not, financially ruined. But you get the idea. When is the right time to sell. So, we'll leave it for that. That seemed okay. Let's move on to the next week. And it was Christmas week 2. I'm pretty sure it was the exact same situation. I did talk quite a fair bit about the likes of the Neon Snowflake. So if I quickly hop over to here. Where is it? Neon Snowflake. Where are we? There we are. I thought the large box would probably perform a little bit better. That's only down 7% at the moment. That actually did quite all right. This was a continuation of the garage door that was accepted the year before. And that garage door did very nicely in the lead up to the next Christmas. It basically went from $1 at one point to $4, and exactly the same thing. Dips down, reaches a point around March, April time, and then it started to rise up a fair bit. So that did get appreciated way before Christmas. What's that going to look like by the time we look at that in December time? Will it behave exactly like the garage door? We shall see. So that was nice to see. But basically, everything here it's the same thing again with the previous week. Christmas themed skins. You've got to wait until next year. That wooden double door there, still doing pretty good though. Up 3%. Let's see if that goes up even higher. Right, so we got that all covered. Should we look at the likes of the very last rush store of, December 2023? Then we can roll into 2024. So, back over to here. Where are you going, Hedge? I do not know. Let's close that. Right, so this was the very last rush store of December. And looking at the likes of all of this, I was confident in the Legacy Kevlar kilt. I did not anticipate what would follow with the Legacy Kevlar collection, because to see the tier 3 being accepted at that point and then sticking around for 2 weeks, I immediately thought, well, that would sell significantly less compared to the likes of the tier 3 armor, because it stuck around for longer and it sold an absurd amount. I wanted to wait it out. I wanted to see how things turned out. That ended up selling at half the amount of the tier 3, but as things rolled out after that as well, which we'll be talking about, it kind of got a bit awkward with the Legacy Kevlar set, because a lot of it just got really oversaturated. But the Legacy Kevlar kilt was one of the skins that didn't sell too much. So that did work out quite nicely. Now, the bombshell sheet metal door, that was very awkward. And I'll happily talk about that, because why'd you keep going there? Go away. You know what? Just die. Sorry about that. I kept going to the wrong thing all the time. So I wanted to go back over to here. That sheet metal door was really strange. I was optimistic for it, but over the course of the Easter dip, it halved in price. But then it rebounded and went back up into the positive again with the recent summertime. So right now, it's slightly off from $3, and I was selling these at one point for about $3.50 almost. And yeah, look at the state of this. Very, very, very weird. It came out, it was alright for a while, then down to less than half its price, and it just returned back to normal. So I wouldn't be surprised if it probably does the exact same thing for the likes of the October fall, the autumn fall seasonal dip. So look at that in October time. If it's half the price again, maybe jump in and buy some more, because maybe it'll just rebound over and over and over again. So that was a harsh lesson learned. I was optimistic for it, but it didn't exactly go as planned. So yeah, chat, did any of you buy into any of these skins and then it went a little bit awkward? I'm very sorry. One thing that really kind of surprised me was the Berserker Thompson. I assumed that would go down pretty bad, and at one point it went down to like $1.90. But during the summer, this was selling up to about like $3.50 as well at one point. Yeah, it's back down to $3 now, but that did actually kind of work out quite nicely. So if I could go back to that, I was feeling somewhat confident in it. I was somewhat confident in Desert Beast Tier 3. I thought, okay, Desert Beast Tier 3 by default, if we were to see continuations, would that work well? I can't remember. Did we have hoodie and pants after the Tier 3? Yes, we did. Yes, it did spike up a little bit, but then this sold quite a fair bit less compared to that, and now the hoodie and pants are doing better compared to that. So that was awkward. But yes, when these appeared, they did spike in demand, spike in price a fair bit. So I was right to assume that we could still, potentially see Tier 2 at some point, maybe, possibly, we shall see. But, yeah, that didn't really work out very well, judging by the price. Oh, dear. But it was by default. And I believe I just stuck with doing a barter on both of those. I think I have bought a few of them here and there. But, yeah, not everything's going to be a huge success. And then everything else I just wasn't really confident in. So let's move on from there. So this was the very first rush store for 2024, January 4. And I, by default, thought, guys, I know an absurd amount of people are playing during this time. It was post-Christmas. Tons of people were playing. Just to give you some context for the likes of that, I hop over to here. I'm going to show you the Steam charts, and I'm going to show you what January looked like, because January had 90,000 average player count, which was a lot better compared to like 2 months ago. So a lot of people were playing, and I was like, guys, the peak players is absolutely absurd, ridiculous. Everyone who's currently playing now, not all of them are going to be around during the likes of February, March, and April. And lo and behold, that was exactly what happened. So to go back and look at that Rust store, you shouldn't be surprised to see that all of it sold like ridiculous amounts. And yes, unfortunately, Legacy Kevlar. But it wasn't just that, it's all of this. Like, we know the whole situation with Legacy Kevlar. The hoodie and pants, initially we thought, okay, it's a continuation, that sounds pretty nice. But then it sold an absolutely absurd amount, got oversaturated, and now after many months, the hoodie's now selling for less than half the price, and the Legacy Kevlar pants are currently selling for $1.43, so didn't hold up very well. But it also shows in the likes of the Curse Collection. You know how Curse Collection rolled out and we got all the primitive skins, the continuations? All of the skins here in the positive. These two, negative. Why? Far too many of these got bought compared to actual genuine demand. So that suffered, but all of that worked out very nicely. And I should point out, with these skins being accepted, these did spike in demand, spike in price during those times, but then they went back down to here again. So it is what it is. Right, Mr. Micro has posted Oh wow, thank you for that, Mr. Micro. I'll look into that a little bit later. So yeah, with the likes of that, I was very hesitant. I knew exactly how things were likely going to happen, and during the likes of June, right now, where a lot of skins rose up in price, look at the state of this. Down 33, down 55, down 36, down 20, down 71. Oh, you got really bad. Like, Hardsuit Jacket sold far too much compared to the rest of the Hardsuit collection. That by itself was a notable problem. 28,000 average sales there, and then all of these did like just under 20 or just around 20,000 sales. Far too much of them in excess led to the price struggling. So, yeah, awkward, unfortunate, but it was expected, and I did basically talk about that. Whilst I did point out certain skins that I thought would work out quite nicely, Cursed Bandana and Poncho, Pirate Star maybe, I just wasn't very confident in that week, and evidently, exactly as expected, it struggled and suffered. So, there you go. If you bought during then, I mean, feel free to stand up and comment and say, yeah, I made a mistake there and whatnot. Hey, you made a mistake, but you also learned something, and that's what matters most. Trust me, I did it before. Right, the second week, and I do believe that was the Trust and Rust. Yeah, it was the Trust and Rust store where we had some charity skins and whatnot, along with the likes of more Cursed Collection skins and whatnot. So let's quickly go see. Hedge for Cursed Hide Clothing was on a roll. Cursed Hide Clothing, we were anticipating more clothing, which evidently did happen because we're seeing all the submissions onto the workshop and whatnot. Zinc and I can't remember who was working with that. They kept putting in the work. They kept getting all the skins in there, and well, I mean, hey, it worked out quite all right. We just looked at it a second ago. So yeah, that was fine. Abyss Road Sign gloves. Oh yeah, that was interesting. So let's move on to that second week in January with the likes of Abyss Road Sign gloves. That did go up ever so nicely. Now we were, yeah, the rest was what's that all about? That was my stream recording. Huh. Anyway, why is you so bored? Shut up. Abyss Road Sign gloves was very weird because we only got the gloves along. The boots were submitted with it, but the boots didn't appear, but they appeared later, which we'll talk about in a bit. That sold significantly less eventually, and that actually worked out very nicely because I thought that probably wouldn't have sold too much. I thought, based on how the Abyss collection was built up and whatnot, I thought it would do okay. Turns out it almost doubled in price at one point, so that worked out nicely, didn't it? It was just the struggle of it was selling for a higher price than normal compared to regular Road Sign glove skins. So, yeah, that worked out nicely. The charity skins were very cool, you know, but we kind of questioned, would these impact the likes of all the other skins that would have been accepted somewhat recently near to this? I don't really think that really happened, but yeah, that worked out nicely. The tools were very weird. They sold for 99 cents instead of $2 like normal. So, yep. So, yeah, overall, the weapons, the wooden door, as expected, they didn't really hold up very well, but some of the other things here, they did work out quite nicely, so it is what it is. Shall we move on to the likes of the second week? So, no, the third week. No. The charity skins stuck around for quite a fair bit. Oh, here we go, Thunder Gold. I'm so sorry, Micro. Is this the wrong overlay? Nah, I mean, I could probably hop out of this. It was casual, Micro, but yeah, I mean, yeah, all right. We're gonna have more space available because now we're going to talk about Thunder Gold, Mr. Micro. Oh, you prepared yourself for this, didn't you? Right. So that was the previous week. Here we are on to the likes of Thunder Gold and others. So that was fun, wasn't it? We thought, oh yeah. There's definitely going to be hoodie and pants soon, right? Yeah, that was our mindset back then. But yeah, it was nice to see another white collection getting acceptances. We were very hyped for Thunder Gold collection. It sold reasonably quite well and whatnot. And of course, when it first appeared, we were optimistic. We were motivated. I was super hyped for that. That was my go-to thing that I thought was going to work out very well. Lo and behold, with the likes of all those whiteout skins just keep going up higher and higher and higher in price, these have also followed. People do appreciate a good-looking white collection. It's just unfortunate that we never did get the hoodie and pants accepted. They did try. The skin creators did try. They put out lovely, wonderful pieces of work. There's a version 2 of them. There's a version 3 which looked even better. Face Punch just didn't want to accept. Don't know. But that did turn into a pretty fun-looking collection with all the weapon skins and whatnot. We'll see what happens in the future in regards to very weird extra late acceptances. Who knows? We'll see. But we were optimistic back then that we were likely going to see even more skins. We saw a lot of weapon skins, which kind of turned out to be true. It's just we never got the hoodie and pants. Even then, it still worked out to be a perfectly fine investment. That doubled in price. You did fine. You're good, Red Time Vest, don't worry. So that was fine, that was cool. Yeah, I hope you do appreciate the likes of that collection. Now, that was a continuation from the likes of the Tier 3, so ever since then, the face mask has always been sitting around like $5. Oh, it's $6 now. Chestplate's kind of weird. It just never really moved that much, and I don't know why. People like the face mask a lot, I guess. So, with that, I'm now going to quickly remind myself all the other skins. So, I was optimistic for the Redemption Revolver. Yep, we don't really see that many Revolver skins being accepted. Part of the Redemption Collection, nice cranberry shiny red. I thought that'd be fine. That turned out alright. I thought the Chameleon set would probably be okay, because I was not going to expect that many sales. And evidently that also proved to be correct. And Cursed Boonie Hat, I wasn't really sure on that one, but you know, we still got more skins accepted after it, so that was fine. But yeah, during the summer, Redemption Revolver went all the way up to about $3.50 at one point. That worked out well. Might have only been a $1 profit, but it's still profit. Can't complain. If you bought a lot, that's a lot more profit. Chameleon Sap, so that kind of peaked up to around plus 25%. Not a ridiculous profit, but I did sit here and say I was probably just going to stick with doing a buy order, and lo and behold, that proved to be perfectly fine, because that went all the way up to about, what, like almost $2.50 almost at one point, and I bought mine for like $1.70, if I can recall. So that's how I went about it, and I did walk away with some profit. So profit is profit, be happy with what you got, move on to the next adventure. And as I said, with the likes of the Curse Collection, we did get the likes of the boots being accepted after the hat, and that hat right now has doubled in price, so that did work out nicely. But I was hesitant. I wasn't sure if we were going to get any more, you know, acceptances after that. Oh, I'm just reminded of the likes of this AK. Oh, yeah. El Diablo AR looked really nice. Sold for $3.49. We thought maybe we won't get that many AKs accepted this year. Oh, we're wrong. That went all the way down to 99 cents. And I can confirm right now, it's currently sitting there at 99 cents. Sold for a fairly reasonably high price, went all the way down. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, yeah, that was awkward. So, yeah, that was the second week where we had charity skins. Let's move on to the next one. So, back over to here. That kind of worked out as expected. Lo and behold, we have another week over here, and did that match expectations? Desert Beast hoodie and pants. Right. So yeah, we got the continuation there. I can recall this ended up being a bit of a tame week. Like, we weren't super enthusiastic for this one, but it was the final rush draw of January. So hopping over to here, as I look over to here, yeah, unfortunately, not super great. I wasn't very enthusiastic for Cyber Mask and Cyber Chest, because we literally just had Hardsuit Collection, another metallic set, and I thought, yeah, didn't really work out very well, did it? No, but I foresaw that. I'm sad to see that didn't work out very well. Polished Obsidian at one point was kind of nicely in the positive at one point, but it's kind of dipped down again. And yeah, Desert Beast hoodie and pants. Wasn't really sure what to think of that, but it did end up in the positive. It sold a fair bit less compared to the Tier 3, and, well, therefore, with less of it available, all the better for it to rise up the price, so as long as it remains fairly in demand. So yeah, everyone bought the box in the door. No, X-Loaded. Props to you, you know, it was all for a good cause, and if you like the skins, I mean, thumbs up. It was all for a good cause. Pat yourself in the back. But, yeah, with all of these, the weapon skins, wasn't very optimistic for them. Evidently, that's where they went, so, yeah. And remember, this is June. There's good prices at this moment. They're down in price still. Yeah. Yeah, and that Cyber Collection just really didn't do that crazy. Like, there were more skins accepted. Yeah, it was consistent. Yeah, that was cool. But then it just kind of went, nah, and then went back down in price again. Because at one point, there was quite a lot of these in the positive. But yeah, that was really weird. And you're going to see weirder, because then we got the likes of the other metallic set. So yeah, you're going to see that in a second. But yeah, that was a very tame week. I didn't really expect much of it. And if I could remind myself, yeah, when I have question marks next to the thing, I mean, by default, that meant that I just wasn't that confident in it. So I went from the likes of Desert Beast to Cyber Tier 3, because by default, you would expect another core piece potentially on the horizon, whether it would be the likes of Desert Beast Tier 2 or Cyber Tier 2 or hoodie and pants. Lo and behold, Cyber did get all of that, so that's cool, that's nice, but meh week. Moving on to the week after that, we had the likes of more Legacy Kevlar skins, because we were also anticipating that trend where every beginning of the month, or beginning of a month, we're seeing a Legacy Kevlar skin being accepted. Lo and behold, we got the likes of the vest and the helmet. And yeah, these were accepted separately from the kilt. bit odd, but I kind of sat there and said, guys, I would be surprised if these probably going to sell a fair bit less. And so as long as the collection remains fairly in demand, you should not be surprised to see if these were going to bounce up in price a fair bit, go higher compared to all the other skins. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened. So yeah, get a good look at that. Unfortunately, those 50 pants are kind of doomed. It is what it is. But all these other skins, they're doing perfectly fine. Not insane, but they're doing okay. A profit's still a profit. Coping. But yeah, looking at the state of that, it worked out quite alright. And of course, there was more afterwards, and that definitely helped out these two. So yeah. Legacy Kevlar, what's your opinions? Were you satisfied with that? Feel free to comment below. But this was also a Rust store. To our surprise, we saw a sheet metal double door. And I've got to point this out to you. It was very rare to see such a thing. So space airlock double door, I saw that. I was ecstatic. I know we had a Twitch drop, but I was ecstatic to see that. Because the year before that, in 2023, we only had 2 sheet metal double doors being accepted. The year before that, only 3. So I knew it was a rare sight to see. I was surprised to see one so early in the year. I thought, you know what? I reckon that'll be okay. We did not know what was going to happen next, alright? Got to get that context in there. We had zero clue what was going to follow, alright? So I actually bought a bunch of them. I did sell them for a profit though, so I'm not going to complain, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy 50, everything will be alright, it'll be okay. But we'll talk about next week in a second, won't we? So that was what my thoughts were back then. And yeah, basically Legacy Kevlar vest in coffee can, then the space airlock sheet metal double door. The Neon Vibes armor door was a bit questionable. Cursed Hide shoes was a bit questionable. All the other skins I wasn't really interested in. But yeah, Cursed Hide shoes worked out perfectly fine. Probably due to the fact that we don't see hide shoes being accepted that much. That's cool. Didn't sell that much. That's cool. So yeah, that worked out quite nicely for the likes of that. Neon Vibes armored door. There was a point where this did go up into the positive. We saw the sheet metal double door being accepted earlier this year, so that did go above and did work out quite nicely. So yeah. Let's quickly look at the other skins. Yeah, that's down by about 50%, down 46%, down 40%. Not exactly very nice. And yes, Micro, you are correct. This is a year review, looking back at all the previous Rust stores from the past year, including some of the Christmas ones late into December. I'm just looking at all of them, and yeah, where are the predictions? The predictions are always in the discussion. In the descriptions of my predictions video. They're always in order of what I feel most confident in, and that was my thoughts basically, as you can see there. I know what I said before then. So I'm just quickly going through the likes of what I said in the past and what evidently happened. And yeah, some of those skins did work out ever so nicely, but all those other skins I wasn't interested in, they didn't really move much. The Ice Sword did kind of boost up a bit recently when we got those tools accepted a good few weeks back, but it only really went up to about $2. It did fare better compared to all the other Savage Sword skins that we've had accepted somewhat recently over the past few years. Like, a lot of them do go down by straight 50% down. It's not pretty. But that one is currently sitting at $1.50. He did better. It's just still went down in price. Awkward. So, yeah. So that was that week. Let's move on to the next week, Lunar New Year, and surprise, surprise, we saw a sheet metal double door. Oh no. So that mindset was a little bit awkward. So let's close that one, and then we go back to the playlist. So now we want to go to Lunar New Year. So if I go down, right, we have, what was it? What was the Lunar New Year one? Oh yeah, because we also had the garage door, didn't we? Oh, that's gonna be a funny one. Right, I don't want Rust rotation. I want predictions. Predictions. Give me all the predictions. Why is that there? I had to remove that. Predictions. No, don't click it. Oh dear. Oh, Hedge. Oh, Hedge. Why are you screwing this up now? Can you please go back? Die. Right, February 29. Why are you being so weird with me? February 29, March 7, and March 14, and March 21, and March 28. Cool. So, this was Lunar New Year. We had a funny old time with that garage door. That was funny. That was only around for like 50 minutes. I'm sure we've already discussed that more than enough. But yeah, over down here, that was the garage door. Copyright issue. Face Punch did not want to get involved with that. They took a step away. I couldn't talk about that really. I couldn't say, oh yeah, that's going to be a wonderful investment, because, you know, it wasn't a Rust store anymore, was it? But of course, with the very next abnormals that we had during that week, we kind of chased after that, and it just kind of instantly went above $100, and then went higher and higher and higher. And right now, that's currently sitting there at just under $400. Yep. Listed. Doesn't mean it's selling at that price. I mean, doesn't look like it sold at that price recently. No, it looks like it sold for $300 recently. But yeah, I don't know where that's going to end up at, but we'll see. But anyway, back over to here. I looked at all the skins and I said, you know what, by default, I don't expect much. I believe only the double door will be okay, but both the Chinese New Year spear and the rocket launcher do look interesting. I was just not 100% sure if we're likely going to see both of these items returning for the very next year. One thing you might have noticed is they brought back the dragon mask. They didn't introduce a new mask. Every Lunar New Year would have like a new mask for the animal, but they started off with the dragon mask when it should have been the year of the pig. So things got a little bit awkward there, but yeah, that's what happened, and maybe that might be a new thing to look forward to. Every new Lunar New Year, per the animal theme, we'll get some sort of special weapon skin being produced by Facepunch themselves. Dragon Launcher is still being appreciated to this day, but the very weird thing was the Lunar New Year skins persisted for like 2 weeks, because all of this like stuck around. The Valentine skins just kind of added onto it. So I'll get onto that in a second, but yeah. So let's quickly go back over to here. I did put down buy orders on the likes of the rocket launcher, the spear, because I thought, hey, maybe during the year they're not going to really hold up very well. I have bought a whole bunch of those spears. Not many of the rocket launchers. Rocket launcher just comfortably rose up in price. So yeah, by default I was like, long double door, the long dragon double door, you get the idea. I'm talking about that one right there. I thought, okay, look, listen, if we don't see any more double doors for a long time, okay, that should work out perfectly fine. It was a cool looking door. It's still a cool looking door. Compared to all the other ones, it still stands out ever so nicely. That was a wonderful looking skin produced by Slanosta. And of course, I didn't even mention it, the Dragon Fan Rug. In short, I wasn't very optimistic for these holiday themed skins. So, point made. You might have sat there and said, Hedge, isn't the Chinese New Year spear and the Dragon Rocket Launcher a skin? I treat them as items. They're made by Facepunch themselves, but you're not wrong. So I was kind of interested, just wasn't very sure. I didn't come across as too unsure, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, back over to here. I basically said, maybe you're just better off maybe chasing after the Chinese lanterns, because during the year they always rise back up in price, and lo and behold, $3.50. No, honestly, these always just magically rise back in price. People appreciate them, and now you can get them in 2 different colours, so, there's more options. So that ended up becoming a bit of an awkward situation. Look at all of that rush door, down 61, down 66, down 65, down 53, down 27. Dragon Fan Rug, I thought you might have done a bit better, but we did get some funnier looking rugs, didn't we? That box, it rarely ever does well, unfortunately, and yeah, all these returning items don't really do that well, but these were interesting, so cool. Like I said, when we rolled into the likes of Valentine's, things got weird, because with that week the Lunar New Year skins still stuck around. What also was weird was for February 14, that was like Wednesday, wasn't it? So we got these additional skins with the Lunar New Year skins, and then on February 15th we then got like a proper rush store sort of with an extra 6 skins. So there was a week where we had all of these Lunar New Year skins and items with the Valentine skins with the all of these skins as well. So things got really awkward. All right, things got really awkward, and I was not 100% sure what was going on. So with the likes of what we have going on here, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just wait until the actual day of the Rust store, then I'll talk about all the skins. Now, what was I most enthusiastic for? What was I most confident in? I immediately went for the likes of the Revolver. I thought Love Struck Gloves, specifically, would be interesting, because I assumed that it wouldn't sell that much, and I thought gloves are more reliable compared to boots. So I thought, you know what, if you were to buy anything out of the Valentine skins, maybe that's going to be the one thing to go for. And then I looked at the likes of the Love Arameda door, because I remember the garage door the previous year, and I thought this would probably dip down in price during the likes of Easter, but it'll probably rise back up again in the future. I was wrong on that one. Thunder Gold AK-47 I was interested in, and turns out that actually did quite nicely throughout all of this year. And I was talking about the likes of the Black Gold Jacket, Neon Love Double Door, Graffiti Love. Yeah, it was really awkward around this period of time, because all the double doors that kept appearing, it's turning into a big problem. Weapon Rex came out not long ago, so maybe Armor Rex are on the horizon. There has been suggestions of some sort of like, like you go to a museum and you see like a armor piece standing up or whatnot, something similar to that. Mannequins or something like that. Maybe. We'll see how that turns out, Mr. Fenrobo. But yeah, back to the context of what this situation was like. We're suddenly seeing a lot more sheepmen and double doors. We're starting to think, oh no, are things going to go awkward now? And they did. We're starting to see this go down in price. This got awkward. This kind of went close to around its Rust store price. I remember its lowest point was when it was evens. That long double door was evens at one point at $2.49. So during that time, we're like, oh no, sheet metal double doors are common now. Oh no, they're not going to retain their value. what worked out ever so nicely was there was like 2 months where we didn't see another sheet metal double door skin. And once we reached around May, they all went up in price. This actually went up to about $3.50 to $4 at one point. This went all the way up to $5 at one point. This has been doing very nicely, stealthily. It didn't sell that much. That went up to about $6 almost at one point, and that, at its best, was about $3, $3.50. So I know, during that time, we're panicky, we're worried, but it still worked out quite all right. But what followed was even more double doors. So, even more. So that kind of caused problems now. So we'll talk more about that when we get to it. Now, to my surprise, one of the skins I didn't even care about was that Obsidian Furnace. That went up high in price. I am, to this day, still unsure. Is there some sort of manipulation going on here? Is it just due to the sheer lack of quantity being listed? I don't know, but the buy orders are there. And there's a lot of them, individual buy orders. I think it's just due to the sheer lack of, quantity. I still don't know, but yeah, it was doing good. Show liquidity, I want to see what that spike is like. What happened with that spike? I believe that's when another polished obsidian skin was accepted, but yeah, it's just comfortably risen up in price. I was wrong on that one. I did not care for it, and it turned out to be one of the better skins. So that was all good. The revolver here worked out perfectly fine. Throughout most of this year, Thundergold AR did stay in the positive. It's gone down a little bit at the moment, but it did do a very good job of staying in the positive. That was actually a perfectly fine thing. At one point, that was easily surpassing $4. It has dipped down a fair bit now. There's probably too many being listed. And the black gold jacket, initially for a period of time, you're perfectly fine. But then a lot more jackets appeared. Twitch drops included. So that turned into a whole other problem, which we'll discuss in a bit. So, yeah. And the training jacket, because that was a black jacket. I thought, okay, we got ourselves a nice budget blackout option. Training appeared. And back over here with the likes of the Valentine skins. Remember, all of this was during the same rust door. I thought that sheet metal door would work out perfectly fine. It did rise up to a nice point at certain points, but it kind of didn't really ever reach back up to its rust door price. I was wrong on that one. I did stick with doing a buy order. I can't remember if I bought some, but I did do a buy order. I bought a reasonable amount of them, but unfortunately, you did not work out very well. Now, these Love Strike boots and gloves, ho ho ho! Remember, I specifically said gloves. I didn't think the boots were going to be that interested in. I didn't think that was going to work out very nicely for the boots that much. Lo and behold, these only did like 7,500 subscribers. In comparison to the rest of the Love Struck collection, on average, all of these Love Struck core pieces, tier 2, tier 3 and hoodie and pants, on average they did like 20,000 subscribers. I know tier 3 did like 30,000, but the point is these sold significantly less compared to all of these, and it graciously rose up in value because of that. These are comfortably, ever so nicely, doubled in price there and quadrupled in price. Actually, at one point I swear these were $6 a piece. So that turned out to be a perfect addition and a perfect investment. And if you bought into them, props to you, congratulations. I didn't actually buy that much. I just did like a strong buy order. Well, there you go. Should have been more confident in it. I remember thinking I remember thinking this one might do well, this sleeping bag, because it sold a lot less compared to this one. And I thought this one was actually doing okay. But Love and Giorgio, you never really recovered that much, did you? Whereas this one, because it sold quite a lot less, actually did get appreciated and did rise up in price reasonably. With a lot less of them in circulation, all the better for it to rise up in price. Alright then. So that was that week. It was a bit all over the place. I remember the Crazy Love sap. I thought a nice bright pink sap. I think that'll work out alright. And to be honest, all the sap skins that came out this year actually did quite alright. When you get a quick look at that, they're doing good. They were appreciated. That was nice to see. Right, so, okay, let's move on to February 22nd then. I got some things wrong, I'll admit it. But yeah, in fact, with the likes of the sleeping bags, I wasn't fully confident. I think I did just stick with doing a bardo there. But same thing can be said with those double doors. They did basically double in price, and I was hesitant. So yeah, during that period of time, again, with the context, we were not confident. Too many double doors in such a short amount of time. To remind you, during 2 weeks, we had 4 sheet metal double doors, so cool. Right, the appearance of Flashback's hoodie and pants. Here we go. So we were really optimistic that we were about to have a full green collection that was going to compare ever so nicely to the Forest Raiders collection and whatnot. And we kept making a big fuss. Forest Raiders cost $250 for the full collection, but for a nice, cheap, affordable price for the likes of those hoodie and pants there, we could very likely walk away with some lovely profit. Now, I have talked more about this collection, or rather these two skins specifically, somewhat recently, talking about how the hoodie is behaving so much more weirder compared to the pants, and it's all because of a certain individual that felt the need to buy tons of them and then dump tons of them. Oh, Felton. Anyway. They are still perfectly fine skins to invest into. What do you mean? Well, as I said, when you look at the likes of Forest Raiders, it didn't get any cheaper. It kept reaching new all-time high prices. During the past post-Christmas, it reached a new all-time high price. During the likes of this summer, it reached a new all-time high price. Now, it has kind of stagnated a bit, stopped going up in price as much. But yeah, you could just go ahead and buy the hoodie and pants from the flashbacks instead of buying the Forest Raiders ones, and you'll probably walk away saving about almost $50 basically. Because, yeah, for the price of these, at best, it's going to cost you maybe about $4. For the likes of those hoodie and pants and Forest Raiders, it's going to cost you about $48. So still perfectly fine. I even made a short video discussing that, how you can look for budget alternatives and you will save a pretty penny. Now, evidently, we never got those flashbacks continuations, did we? Algorithm did try. He made tier 2, he made tier 3, didn't work. Okay. Resubmitted tier 3 as a version 2, didn't get accepted. Recently put out boots and gloves, didn't get accepted. He's put out a poncho, didn't get accepted. Put out bandana and a boonie hat and whatnot, didn't get accepted. I don't know what's going on, but I stand by my belief of, if Face Punch provided cheap alternative budget camouflage options, the likes of Forest Raiders wouldn't be so expensive. By not providing cheap alternatives, people suffer because the likes of Forest Raiders only gets more and more and more expensive. Same can be said for the likes of Whiteout Collection and whatnot. So, I know, it's awkward. And again, if Face Punch thinks they should never ever release another camouflage collection, they're only making it more pay to win in relation to Forest Raiders being expensive and whatnot. So feel free to comment in regards to that. If you think that's correct or not, you're more than welcome to offer your opinion. Now, during the same week, we also had the likes of Respawn Allegory Fresco, one of the most beautiful pieces of art we've ever received in all of Rust. I mean, come on now. Mr. Vay's perfection. That has got to be one of the funniest, silliest, and absolutely wonderful skins that we've ever received in Rust. Vase and Lynx, both of them. Spectacular job. Now, I was like, okay, would this always be appreciated? Would this always work out fine? Initially, that did dip down in price. That did go down to around $1 at one point. But during the summer, it did go all the way up to $2. $2 is not that much of a profit, but it still worked out ever so nicely. Let's go hop back over to here. Flashback Hoodie and Pants was the thing I was most interested in. Respawn Allegory Fresco was the thing I was second most interested in. And with the other skins, I wasn't that confident in them. I wasn't happy to see another metallic set come out. But with the likes of Damascus set, that actually did work out quite alright. The initial first few skins that were accepted, yeah, they did work out quite nicely. But we didn't mention those skins yet, did we? No. We were talking about tier 2. And I was under the impression that, okay, that's it. I know these have appeared and caused these to spike up in price ever so nice, but I do not think the same thing would happen to these. Lo and behold, the boots and gloves were accepted and it worked out with a kilt. But I wasn't really super invested in another metallic set. We had Cyber Collection and Damascus out somewhat close to the same time, and I was really worried we're going to have both of them accepted during the same Rust store. During the period of time where we could have had more flashbacks, but it didn't happen. And all the other skins here I just wasn't really interested in, and look at that, you know, they haven't really held up very well. So, Damascus, you were a talking point. Right, moving on to the last Rust store of February, and lo and behold, we got Cyber Collection and the Damascus boots and gloves, so ha ha ha. That happened. So yeah, what was I interested in back then? I said Tame Rust Door, March Force Wipe interesting, Damascus Roadside Gloves maybe, everything else not really. I was not interested in that Rust Door. I was not confident in this Rust Door. Turns out Damascus Roadside Gloves did work out kind of alright. I mean, if you bought them, you haven't really made a profit. If you did a barter on them, it still worked out as a profit. But yeah, looking at all of this, wasn't really 100% sure. Thunder God Sar, you have done ever so nicely. You sold for $3. You're now sitting there at $4.45. And I know you went up to an even higher price. So, I swear you were higher. Yeah, you were like almost $5 at one point back a week or so ago. So, you actually turned out to be the most interesting looking skin. That, probably due to the sheer lack of sales, it was a very tame week. Everybody just looked at it and thought, nah. And they probably didn't even notice the Thunder God Sir. That was something I was definitely questioning when we were doing the abnormals for that week. That was fine. But all of these other skins, not surprised to see how it turned out. Now, initially, we were very interested in the likes of the Apocalypse Nomad because it has that, that transparent aim sight. We thought, oh, is that going to be special? Oh, is that going to be interesting? Oh, are people going to appreciate it? Turns out they didn't. Recently, someone made a TikTok video, someone made a Reddit post, and suddenly everybody realised that this has transparency in its aim sight, and then suddenly everybody started buying them again. It didn't last forever, though, unfortunately. But yeah, this struggled for a very long time, and only recently did the likes of these weapon skins actually get some form of appreciation. That M39 at one point was selling for $3 a piece. This was selling for just over $2 at one point, and this somewhat was evens, but now it's gone back down again because the hype kind of died down. So that week was tame, wasn't super insane. We'll move on. Let's hop over to the likes of the March. The first Rustore of March, and lo and behold, Legacy Kevlar. That was a trend that we were expecting. That was a very nice sight to see. And it turns out those boots and gloves, they didn't sell that much, and it turns out they turned into absolutely lovely looking, profitable investments. Doubled in price. So let's go over to here. Let's go see what Hedge was interested in. Let's go see what he said. And he said, Thundergold, he was optimistic for Thundergold or flashbacks the next week. Oh, Hedge, you silly person, you were too optimistic. Anyway, I looked at the likes of Legacy Kevlar, road sign gloves and boots. Potentially, it was a bit awkward because I looked at everything and I wasn't really sure everything was definitely going to get continuations. I was optimistic we were definitely going to see another Legacy Kevlar skin being accepted the very next month, the beginning of April. That didn't happen. There was a jacket skin that was provided, it wasn't accepted. So these two skins were in fact the very last skins to be accepted for Legacy Kevlar. In the future, if we were to have a complete the sets, wouldn't be surprised if we potentially see another one. We shall see, as I said, jacket maybe. But hey, that still worked out quite nicely. If you bought into them, props to you, congratulations. I think I bought like 20 gloves and 20 boots, and yeah, I mean, that worked out well. I must have bought 30 each, and rarely do I ever buy 20 of something. The Skullforce stuff was nice. I just wasn't really sure if we're definitely going to get continuations. Sean Mick tried so hard. He did burlap shirt and pants twice, hide clothing. He did like leather gloves, boots, hide boots. Didn't work out. Never accepted. Face Punch did not want another primitive collection for some strange reason. And Blocky Rig, you were interesting. I was optimistic to see a full collection of that. Lo and behold, that only ended up getting 3 skins accepted. And of course, we also saw the likes of Kakloma sort of turning into a collection. Yeah, there was a lot of deplorable collections that only got like 2 or 3 skins accepted, and that was it. So that was awkward. I was only really interested in these, and turns out that was exactly what happened. Only these worked out quite nicely. So yeah, let's go over to here to March 14. Let's skip ahead, and with the likes of this Rustore here, March 14, 2024, it was Easter. Was it? Yeah, no, it was just before Easter. Easter was coming up. Yeah, I don't think I was really interested in any of these. Let's just go look back and see what I said. I said, oh no, question marks and everything. So yeah, I wasn't very optimistic for all of this. Remember, my rulings are, if I talk about it first, I'm more confident in it. But if I have a question mark next to it, I'm still like at best 50-50. And turns out, that all turned out questionable and I was questioning it. So yeah, that did not work out very well. Oil Spill actually did do a very good job going up to evens and being in a positive for a reasonable amount of time, but it didn't last forever. Blackberry Furnace, I think I initially did think it might do okay, and there was a point where it was doing alright, but then it just kind of went back down again. Awkward. Clown Base, yeah, another instance of, hey, let's accept one skin and then no more. Kizaru the Skin Creator did in fact go ahead and produce a whole bunch of skins, but none of them are accepted. Deplorables, tons of them. Any more? No. So yeah, didn't really work out very well. Tame week, it is what it is. And then we move into the likes of Easter. And well, Easter, I was just looking at everybody and I was like, guys, there's nothing that you're going to really want. However, there was one notable skin and it was the Easter Chick Hammer. I was like, guys, I really don't think we'll be seeing another hammer skin accepted anytime soon. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. I was like, guys, honestly, it's only the hammer, and everything else, meh, not really. People do not care for Easter-themed skins, and, well, evidently that was the answer. Now, that's been manipulated, and I think that might be rising up in price to a higher point at some point in the future, but everything else, not surprising to see the state of that. That did quite alright, actually. It did reach up to about like $2.20 at one point, has kind of dipped back down again, but yeah, only the hammer really matched up to expectations, because that was the only thing I was really interested in. And then, yeah, not optimistic for the other skins. Yeah, I guess so. I still buy them. Best hammer ever. When Chick Suit. I would love to see Chick Suit, but they didn't accept it when it was submitted last time. So that whole rush store did not sell very well. In total, it looks like it did like next to nothing. So with the second week of Easter, Face Punch was just like, meh, let's just only accept a couple Easter theme skins and then just do like a cool looking rush store. So, do you see the Easter skins anywhere? No, because people did not care for them. Which was very weird when we saw the likes of that getting manipulated and reaching up to $50 instantly, because that only did like 3,000 subscribers. That did not sell that much. And yet, that skin right there, for like the past 3 or so months, was manipulated like crazy. And I did not... No one anticipated that. Nobody anticipated what would happen to the likes of this. Now, some people in my server actually bought 100 each. I don't know why they did that, but they walked away with like 5 grand each. Yeah, that's how absurd this was. So, yeah, props to you guys, but the amount of these that got bought to keep that pump up, I estimated between $30,000 to $50,000 just to keep the price up, to make it look as if it was valuable. It was never worth that price. And based on what you see now, it clearly dropped down pretty quickly. Right, so then, of course, we had all of these other skins as well. So what was my thoughts in regards to that second Easter rush store? And, well, I looked at the likes of the Shadowborn Garage Door. That turned out very nicely. I also looked at the likes of the stone base box. Now, when I saw the second base box, I remembered, I was like, well, hang on a minute, if they're going to look exactly the same, isn't that going to lead to potential problems? And evidently it did. We'll talk more about that in a second. I thought Black Diamond AK-47 might be pretty interesting, but it was such a high price, it kind of struggled. But I will give credit to the likes of that Black Diamond collection. A lot of the skins do look very nice, and a lot of them haven't really gone down too badly. Like the AK right now is only down by 12%. The LR, the Custom SMG, only down by 23%, not too bad. Thompson, only down by 4%. So that was kind of okay. It didn't sell an absurd amount each, and, well, they haven't gone down in price that much. But I do believe I was like, you know what, guys, I'm just going to stick with doing a buy order. Because I did remember that Bad Trip also made the likes of the Black Gold collection, the Weapon collection. They sold for absurdly high prices. They did not hold up very well, unfortunately. And if you go look at them right now, even during the likes of the summer right now, yep, they're still kind of struggling a fair bit. Oh, yeah, it is what it is. But, yeah. Oh, look, Cyber Hoodie and Pants. Well, you matched up to expectations, didn't you? Yeah, so I was kind of curious about that one. I did like a $1.80 barter in that. Turns out that was not very smart. Looked cool, though. That's the annoying thing. Looked cool. Sold for $4. Still went down to $1.58. Oh, dear. So, yeah. Chat, out of all these skins we talked about so far, did you invest into any of them? I remember buying a decent amount of these, but I gave them away. And at one point, that Shadowborn Garage Door went all the way up to about $9, if I can recall, because we kept seeing more and more continuations. We kept seeing more of these deplorable skins getting produced and accepted. Number one, looks cool. Number two, all those acceptances only made it, get more and more strengthened with investment. But as you can see, ever since then, it's just been slowly descending now, unfortunately. It had a hype moment, but it dropped off. It's sad to see that, but the amount of garage doors that we had so far this year, not too surprising. Alright then, April 4, off we go, and I've got to go get more of these links, so let's quickly go ahead and take a look at the likes of all of these other Rust stores. So, we got April, we've got May, and we should be caught up now, so yeah. I know this was long and rambly, I do apologise, but I'm sure a lot of people probably stood up and said, well, I did that, I did this. Wait, are we missing a Rust rotation in between here? Oh, that's awkward. Oh, no, don't click it. No. Sorry about this. All right, come on. Click, and the most recent predictions. I mean, I can't really criticise myself with the most recent predictions. We haven't seen what the turnout was, the result. But anyway, this was the beginning of April, and let's hop over to here. We got an immediate Shadowborn continuation. And yes, that, unfortunately, the Sheep Door is now in the negative. But to see that appearing just like that, whoa, that was cool. And then we also got the beginning of the Chameleon collection, which was pretty interesting. Mr. Oh, don't you start breaking on me now. Don't you start breaking on me now. No, 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 no. I just got started, sort of. No, not like this. Anyway, I can still talk about what I saw back then. So basically, the beginning of the Chameleon collection, that was interesting. By default, I would have looked at that and said, yeah, okay, guys, now we can anticipate the hoodie and pants and the tier 2. And lo and behold, that did, become a full collection, didn't it? I was interested to see both Blocky and Shadowborn getting continuations. So, curiosity was, alright, maybe, just maybe, we'll get an instant continuation the next week or sometime soon, and we'll see about that. There was the Snakebite sleeping bag. I was interested in it, but it glows in the dark. I was like, well, it's a green sleeping bag, perfect for outside, but it glows. People would find it. People probably, destroy them. It didn't retain its value, unfortunately. So let's just go back to that actual predictions. Look in the description. What did he say? He was interested in Shadowborn Sheep in the Door, Chameleon Tier 3, Thundergold Double Barrel Shotgun, Blocky Cargo Box, and I was kind of not very confident in the other skins. So back over to here. With the likes of that Apocalypse Nomad AK-47, I was very, very, very unsure on that. It was another Apocalypse Nomad skin. Transparency in the aim sight. Evidently, I would say it didn't really perform very well. For most of its existence, it's been in the negative pretty badly. And at one point, down to 90-ish cents at one point. More than half down below its price, so that didn't really work out very well. Double barrel shotgun, I was curious because a lot of the Thundergold weapons were doing very nicely at that point. Both the SAR and the AK were in the positive then. I can't look at it because SCMM's kind of broken at the moment. Awkward. Sorry about that. But yeah, just take my word for it. I was interested. I thought that could probably get enough support, much like with the SAR and the AK. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen. So, interesting Rustor there. There's a lot to expect with the future. What did the future look like? Well, evidently these prices didn't do very well, but in the future, very close to it back then, I think this is broken. Let me refresh. All right, go. Yeah, it's broken. All right, I can wait until it fixes itself. Oh, there you go. That's fine. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Right then, so, here we are. With the likes of this Rustor, we immediately got continuations with the likes of Shadowborn and Blocky. That was cool. And yes, this was the point in time where we started to see the likes of that garage door really going up and high in price. That was nice. That was cool. That was awesome. And the Blocky Lighthouse door, to see that being accepted as well, that was nice. You might have noticed they did like a switch around. So we got the large box for the Shadowborn this week and the sheep with the door for the Blocky. Previous week it was different, wasn't it? It was the other way around, wasn't it? So that turned out pretty cool. That turned out pretty fun. That was nice. We also had the likes of the Tomb of the Octopus garage door. I thought by default, if we were to see more skins for that being accepted, maybe we could see something like Shadowborn happening with that too. But then I started to realise back then, there's a lot of deplorable skins being accepted around now. There's a lot of collections potentially building up. Maybe that might turn into a bit of a problem. And, as I said a little bit earlier, there's tons of deplorable skins being accepted this year that almost turned into proper collections but stopped after 2 or 3 acceptances. Only Shadowborn reached up to at least 5. So yeah, that was awkward. And you know what's awkward here? It keeps spinning around. I don't think this fully loaded in. So I'll try my best to get through all of this. So, referring back to the actual predictions, that was the previous week. So over to here, April 11, 2024. The first thing I looked at I thought was going to do okay. Shadowborn large box. I mean, that's started to go down in price now. Yeah. And then we also had the likes of the Blocky sheep at the door. No, that didn't really ever be a nice investment, I'm afraid. I got that one wrong. I know I did. Thundergold Custom SMG, much like the double barrel shotgun, I thought maybe it might get held up a little bit better. Not really. I did stick with doing a barter on that one though, and it still kind of worked out quite alright. So yeah, that right there kind of matched up with expectations. Yeah. So the things I thought were going to be okay, not all of them did, unfortunately. But yeah, some of them did do quite alright. I was not very sure with the Apocalypse Nomad M39 because we don't really have that many M39 skins to compare to. And back over to here, well, I put that as a I really don't know category. I had loads of question marks there, did not know what to think of it. And evidently, recently, it's been appreciated, but for a fairly long time in between from then to now, no. It was in the negative, unfortunately. So that was it is what it is. Some things I got kind of right, some things not really. Moving on to the next week if we can. So looking at that Rustor there, that's where we've got gold chains. Oh, okay then. Can I refresh this? Are we still broken, SCMM? Can we continue? Let's see. Are you strong? Right, sorry about that. SCMM kind of like froze or something. Happens every now and then. I've only waited like a few minutes, but it's back to normal. So here we are, looking at the likes of the April 19, 2024 Rust store. We were very surprised to see that gold chains poncho. Something we never really saw before. That was weird. No, seriously, like, we'd never saw that much transparency in a poncho before. So, hopping back over to the likes of what we see with the Rust store. Sorry, I kind of stumbled there. I looked at it at first glance and I thought I don't really see that much. I wasn't like confident in any of it. I was very unsure with the gold chains poncho. I really didn't expect potentially to see maybe any continuations and whatnot. There were continuations. They were strange, to say the least. We did see one of them being accepted, which was nice. But yeah, I mean... But yeah, we saw some really, really funny things being produced for it. And in all fairness, that's essentially not that bad. Silly, yeah, but we already got that accepted, so why not? The rug, wasn't really a fan of that. That didn't really look... It looked too uncanny. But the head wrap and whatnot, the skirt, I can't say no to that. Anyway. So, evidently, gold chains has done a pretty good job retaining its value. Props to that. It did dip down in price for a while, but we did get, like, leather gloves accepted. That gave it a bit of a boost, so that was interesting. Those leather gloves have not holding up very well, unfortunately, by themselves. But yeah, looking at all of this Rust store, I was kind of leaning more towards the high-quality base box, but I realised, and I knew, I was having a hunch that, unfortunately, because they're all the same, and we did recently just have the wooden base box accepted, because they're all the same, whilst some people out there would want to collect all of them, it will get to a point where probably only one or two of them would be the favourite and be used more than the others. And that could be various different people with different opinions what their favourite was. Therefore, all of them would struggle. And evidently, they all went down in price. That's exactly how it went. So as I said, there's supposed to be a group of 4 here, but for some strange reason it got a bit mixed up on the SCMM. They are grouped, do not worry. So anyway, that turned out to be a tame Rust store, and I wasn't really enthusiastic. But that did still do like 27,000 sales. That was ridiculous at that time, because we kept being a fair bit tame with sales overall. So, like I said, I was more interested in the high-quality metal small box compared to the gold chains poncho. Yeah, I was by default interested in the likes of Norseman Tier 3, expecting hoodie and pants, and Tier 2, but didn't really work out very well. Never got those acceptances, did we? So, And I really wasn't sure about the Sheepman Adores and the Black Diamond LR300. So moving on. Here we have the likes of the April 25, 2024 Rust store, and that was interesting. Why? We saw another blackout weapon being accepted. So, with what we saw with that, I was like, guys, I know exactly how this is going to go down. I know, as time goes on, this is expected to graciously rise in price. It's not going to be an immediate thing. It's not going to be a quick thing. It's going to be something that's going to take time. The likes of the MP5, the SMG, the Python, well, these two have... this and this have transparency in the aim sights, not the MP5. But even then, with the likes of that custom SMG, that took time to get up to that point. It hasn't doubled in price, but it's still doing very good for itself. I knew, initially, you're going to see a lot of listings on the Steam market for this. Now, sort of recently, it did kind of calm down a bit. It did go down to about 90 quantity, but now it has gone back up to about 117. What's the likelihood for this and its future? I will stand by the point of maybe next summer, you'll probably see this doing a lot more better. All right, SAP skins throughout all of this year have done quite nicely, and during the summer, a lot of them that have come out over the past 2 or 3 years have been in the positive. They have performed well. That right there, yeah, there's quite a lot of listings, but it's still very thin. Maybe you'll see a few more being listed, but I can't help but assume with the support it has and whatnot, it'll probably just be evens during the likes of the dreaded October period of time. But once we reach post-Christmas again, it'll probably bounce back up again, get bought out, easily rise up in price. Maybe 10, look at it, 10 sales, it's up to $3, you know? So we'll see how things turn out with the likes of that, but I know it's going to be more of a long-term wait, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. I bought a bunch of those. I was happy to sit in it, and I still am. So yeah, that's definitely the skin I was definitely most interested in. And then we looked at the likes of Chameleon Clothing. Chameleon Clothing was interesting. It's the perfect example of, we got a continuation where, or core piece continuation, where the second piece to be accepted ended up selling less than the original core piece, and these have just flourished. That is now sitting at $3. That is now sitting at $5. These sold like 3,000 less subscribers compared to Tier 3. They've done nicely. They've kind of sat around evens, and we knew on the horizon we were to expect potentially boots and gloves and Tier 2. Guess what happened? It's exactly as expected. So I knew Mr. Milho Free Trader Skin Creator was definitely going to be producing them. I was hopeful we're going to get those acceptances. Lo and behold, look at that. That worked out very nicely. So I was correct in that regard. But Cell Tier 2, I mean, I was kind of 50-50 on it, but the Skin Creator broke their arm. I have no control in that. All right, just pointing that out. So unfortunately, that Cell Tier 2 armor set did not get any new core pieces being produced for quite a long time. I also know the Skin Creator is a student, so I don't know when they're going to hop on to making some hoodie pants and Tier 3. We shall see, but yeah, that didn't work out very well, did it? Awkward. But yeah, it wasn't one of the skins I was more confident in, slightly more compared to all the others, but yeah, it was still something I was like very 50-50 on. By default, with any core piece, you do have to anticipate the chances of seeing the likes of any new core pieces being accepted and of course causing, nice price rises. So everything else, not really confident in. I wasn't that confident in the Bombshell Thompson. Look quite alright, but Thompsons, they've been not the best this year. I mean, take a look and what do you see? All the Thompsons that came out this year, not really holding up very well. You're doing okay for now, but we'll see. Right then, so yeah, Shadowborn Armored Door. Nice to see yet another Shadowborn Deplorable skin being accepted. That was building up very nicely, but we haven't had one accepted after a while, and it's kind of started to slow down a bit. Awkward. But yeah. Evidently, that did go up in price ever so nicely, so that was nice to see. So, moving on, we had the likes of it's the Rust Door with the double doors. The May Force Wipe Rust Door Rotation, May 2, 2024. We saw the sheet metal double door, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. Before that happened, and I said this earlier, that was pushing up to $5. This was pushing up close to $4. This was doing like $5 to $6. That was comfortably above $3, and then that appeared. I was like, you know what? Surely, we're not going to see any more of these sheet metal double doors. We should be right to jump in and buy some. Surely we'll get some more Shadowborn skins and whatnot being produced and accepted. I was wrong. I bought 50 of those. I'm not unhappy with that. I know if I just hold on to them for a long-term investment, it'll still be fine. Post-Christmas, summer, we'll see. But it's getting a bit weird with this now. Why are we getting so many sheet metal double doors? They used to be a rare sight to see. So I will sit here and say I wasn't fully correct. I guess you could say I was wrong. But I would stand more with, not fully correct. Because it still went up in the positive. At one point, they were close to $4. But then more appeared, so. Awkward. Yeah. Black Diamond SMG and Bullseye LR300 were interesting because with the May Force Wipe, we had changes to the custom SMG and the LR300. They got buffed, the weapons themselves. Unfortunately, the LR300 buff hype kind of died down, so a lot of the skins that did go up in price went back down again. Awkward, I know, it's unfortunate, but yeah. So unfortunately, that didn't really hold up very well, and if I quickly look at the skins themselves, the Black Diamond did not go up that much, and you just went halved in price. Everything else, unfortunately, did go down pretty badly. I wasn't even confident in the sheet metal base box, because by then I was really into the idea of they're going to compete with each other for our love, and they weren't going to hold up very well, and evidently, didn't really hold up very well there. So question marks all on the other skins. Only the double door looked appealing to me, really, and, well, that's still in the positive. It's just not very high in the positive. The very next week, we had quite a shock. The return of the Redemption Collection, Chameleon Road Sign Gloves, and this. So, to remind myself of these picks, with that May 9 Rust Door, it was this period of time where we were really hopeful of potentially seeing a complete the sets for May, because we had one in 2023. We did not have a complete the sets in May 2024. But we very weirdly got a lot of late, very, very late picks. What do you mean? Well, that was in the Rust Workshop, I should say, for over 2 years, almost 3 years to be precise. This was in the workshop for 6 weeks. This was in the workshop for over a year. It was weird how that happened, and it's not the first instance where that happened in May. The only instance, I should have said. But yeah, we saw the arrival of the gloves, we saw the arrival of the Rainbow Pony jacket and whatnot. I was very curious. I thought all of this looked really interesting. So my thoughts with the likes of that was I thought the Road Sign gloves were probably the best thing to go for. Exactly the same behaviour as the Abyss gloves. They did go up in price ever so nicely. Not insanely, but they were a comfortable buy. If you had to buy anything from that Rust Door, I said the gloves were to go for. Evidently that was correct. So cool, that worked out nicely. Now, I also said the jacket. I did not know what was going to happen with the jackets. It's unfortunate, but yeah, we suddenly got a lot of them, and, well, they're not as rare as they used to be, I guess you could say. Twitch drops, training jacket. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I was wrong on that one. I will admit that. That's not very good. Now I also looked at Redemption Tier 2. Redemption Tier 2 is in an awkward spot. The skin creator is busy at the moment. He's not finished with it though. He will return. He's just busy at the moment, alright? So if you're looking at the likes of Redemption Collection and thinking, Hedge, you are wrong, I will sit here and say, we haven't seen the appearance of Hoodie and Pants in a workshop yet. Wait. Or at least a version 2 of the Hoodie and Pants. I'm not sure if he did Hoodie and Pants in the past. We'll see. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, evidently we can sit here and say, you were wrong slightly, but wait for the future, alright? Maybe July. Right, okay, cool. So, all of these other skins, wasn't really enthusiastic for them. I know the MK Ultra looked very colourful and very silly, but I was still like, yeah, it's an AK, yeah, I'll leave that for now. And the Black Gold Pump Shotgun, I was like, I'm not really sure. I don't think it's going to do very well. It actually did very nicely. So, props to you. I was wrong on that one. El Diablo Bow, meh. And as you can see, meh. So, yeah, that was awkward, but yeah, some of them right, some of them no. Unfortunately, I could not tell that we're going to get an abundance of jackets in such a short amount of time, so it is what it is. The very next week was May 16, 2024. We had the arrival of some very, very interesting looking skins. So we had the likes of that Blind Drug, Volcanic Rock, Neon Vibes Double Door, yes, another Double Door, the appearance or beginning of the Overheat Collection and the Blackguard Collection, so it was an okay rush store, nothing super crazy. The beginning of potentially lots of collections and whatnot. That Blind Drug actually worked out very well. I was not really interested in the Blind Drug. I can see a lot of role players would appreciate it and whatnot. I could see what the designs, the windows and whatnot. It did look cool, but I just didn't think it would do very well. I was wrong. Turns out people did appreciate it. The price did rise up. I'll accept that. I got that wrong. So looking over to here with the likes of that rush store, I mainly leaned towards the likes of the Neon Vibe Sheepman Double Door because I thought Diaz, the skin creator, would focus it and produce more deplorables for it. Evidently, didn't really happen. We saw a resubmission of the large box. He probably didn't want to submit the small box because, of course, those neon small boxes that have been appearing recently. It just wouldn't really be a smart choice, would it? But then what happened with this week? Shut up. So anyway, with all those skins, I was like, I only really look at the likes of the Neon Vibe Sheepman Double Door as a confident pick, and evidently it did go up in price a bit, but, more Double Doors appeared, so even then I was like, I don't know if we're going to see any more Sheepman Double Doors. We did see them, Hedge. We did see them. So anyway, with that, okay, awkward, understood. Now, with the Overheat and the Blackguard, I wasn't fully 100% in, but I was like, guys, come on now. If we see continuations, by default, you should expect things to work out quite alright. Blackguard unfortunately never got a continuation, went down in price. Overheat did. Overheat got boots and gloves, and that happened literally the very next week. So these went up to $4 each at one point. That actually worked out very well. And on Horizon, Tier 2, Tier 3, we shall see, but it hasn't been accepted yet, so that's awkward. How could people not want more flavourful skins? So yeah, those were the skins I was interested in. The likes of a glow-in-the-dark rock I was very questionable about, but that actually did a pretty decent job of retaining its value. This, and this I wasn't really that sure of, so yeah, I wasn't that confident, I'm afraid. So yeah, that turned out to be pretty much expected, but Blind Drug, I wasn't very interested in it. Turns out I was wrong on it. I'll put my hand up and say, yeah, I was wrong in that regard. So, cool. Moving on to the next week, May 23. Looking at the likes of this. Talking about not seeing a complete the sets. May 23 kind of it was weird. It was a pseudo complete the sets. Not officially a complete the sets, but come on now. That was in the workshop for almost a year. That was in the workshop for over 3 years. This was in the workshop for over 8 months. Come on now. They didn't do an official one, but it was kind of a proper complete the sets, or rather continuations of the sets. That ended up spawning a supplementary small box section for the Neon Storage Collection. Now, initially, a lot of people just thought, oh yeah, that's going to be an easy investment. That's going to be a perfectly fine thing to jump into and make a bunch of profit. Now, in all fairness, for the first small box, it did work out quite nicely. Props to you. If you bought into that, that's fine. But I do still stand by my point with the likes of those neon small boxes. Once we reach around October time this year, they are going to dip. They are. It's the first dip that they're going to go through, and they're going to suffer because a lot of them got bought, and not everybody's going to be sticking around for the likes of that period of time. So basically, we've got a lot of people playing right now. As you can see, 93,000 average player count for the month so far. Last year was pretty much the exact same thing, but what happened when we reached October? About a third of them disappeared. Can you imagine the amount of small box skins that we're going to see being dumped on the Steam market during this period of time? Yeah, so that's why I stood by my point of, I think I'm just going to stick with staying and waiting until then, and then I'll buy in, because I know after that it will start rising up in price ever so nicely. I do still stand by my point. I do believe that's how it's going to go. Oh, where have I gone? That's a nice looking background there. Sorry about that, I got a little bit lost there. So, yeah, with the likes of what we see here, it's nice. It's still the summer. We have been getting consecutive acceptances. Not this week, though, but yeah. Don't assume it's always going to be in the positive. It will dip down at some point. That is the expectation, so awkward. Now, with the likes of the double doors there, that was the one thing I was mainly confident in. So, looking at the likes of this, my predictions, I was like, well, I mentioned Rust Kingdom's Twitch drops first, but the main thing I focused was the Toxic Armoured Double Door. I did not expect to see any Armoured Double Doors being accepted for the rest of this year. We normally only ever get one accepted per year, and evidently, so far, we're good. It's still slightly in the positive, but that's definitely something I'm going to hold on to for another year or so. Wait until the next summer, then sell, because that is basically what happened with the Bombshell Armoured Double Door the previous year. I said it during then, I'll say it again. That went up to $6 at one point this year. Yes, it's gone down in price since then. Awkward, but it did very well. It doubled in price. That's what I expect for this next year. So hold if you want to. Sell now if you need to. It's up to you. Profit's profit. Can't complain, but that's in your hands to make that decision. Now, I also looked at the likes of the Overheat boots and gloves. I thought they weren't going to sell too much. I thought that was going to be perfectly fine, and we could be optimistic for the future to see Tier 2 and Tier 3. Unfortunately, we never got that Tier 2 or Tier 3 accepted. They are still actively potentially available to be picked for an upcoming Rust store, but yeah, evidently still kind of awkward at the moment. Now, those boots and gloves are actually still slightly in the positive, so that's cool. The hype and the momentum is still there, but will we actually see those acceptances? We need to see them. We need to see them. Oh yeah, and the Dark Horse investment. So there was also the Fish Road Sign pants. Fish Road Sign pants were very interesting because we were anticipating the skin creator to submit some more clothing and armor skins. Evidently, that did happen, but they weren't accepted, so thanks, Face Punch. With the arrival of the roadside pants, yes, we saw all of these go up in price. They're all in the positive now. We were hoping to see more skins following that, but unfortunately, it didn't come. As of now, it hasn't come. Now, the skin creator very likely might resubmit his fish hoodie and pants again. If we get that, by default, another core piece still would work out very nicely. That sold hardly anything, especially compared to these two armor pieces. Maybe it doesn't happen anytime soon, but eventually, if it does happen, those are going to go up in price ever so nice. Now, they're still in the positive. At one point, these went up to $1.50 because there's a lot of hype behind it. It has kind of cooled down a bit. It's unfortunate, but who knows? Maybe they get accepted next week. Maybe it gets accepted the week after for July 4th swipe. I don't know. Face Puncher's recent acceptances have been really strange, so I'm just going to point that out. I also looked at the likes of the Abyss boots. I thought, yeah, maybe they'll be quite alright, do a decent job to retain their value, probably behave exactly the same way as the gloves did with the likes of the rest of this collection. As of now, it's only up by 11%, but it's still in the positive. You can sell it right now and get your money back, basically. So, if you thought that was okay, hey, it's there. Just didn't really go up as high as I've probably initially expected. And all the other skins I wasn't really sure with. I really wasn't sure with the training jacket and the realm and garage door. I was wrong there. I was wrong with the garage door. Not wrong with you. Because during the same week when we had the Twitch drops, the Rust Kingdom Twitch drops, we had 2 jacket skins being given away for free. Another black one as well. So I looked at that initially and thought, oh yeah, budget blackout. But then that appeared, it's free. You get the idea. Will Neff's one, see it and Will Neff's one, I should clarify. It's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, still very funny, very goofy. Now that, initially, I was really unsure. I thought it sold far too much. It was very strange to me that did like 30,000 sales almost, when we had the anime garage door being given away for free during the same week. So I thought, okay, surely that's sold far too much. Surely that's going to be oversaturated. Well, we did get the, the sheet on the door being accepted, and that actually went all the way up to $5 at one point. My buy orders are net like $1 and $1.50 because I was under the assumption that we're going to see a lot more garage doors this year. We did see 2 more. It's kind of correct. We'll see how that looks during the likes of the next upcoming dip. But I was too cautious, too worried, and evidently, there you go. I was wrong with that one. Oh, I could have gone higher, but I didn't. So yeah, I was wrong with that one, and I'll admit that. And with that, hey, we'll see how things turn out. There's still more to expect with it. So my hesitation and caution is knowing how things played out with the likes of the large boxes. So overall, bit 50-50 in this week. Right, we can now hop over to the likes of May 30, the last Rustore of May 30. It wasn't too long ago, and we had, well, the immediate continuation with the food storage appearing for the neon small boxes. Now, at that point, I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. That looks like we're definitely going to be getting a batch of these small boxes now. Maybe 6 to 10, we shall see. And evidently, so far, we've had 4 so far. That's nice to see, but this is the same Rustore where we're hopeful for the likes of some really cool looking core pieces and whatnot, and we got metal and whatnot. Cool metal, yay! Oh, that was a funny old time, wasn't it? So anyway, when I looked at all of those skins, my thoughts were, I look at the likes of the neon small food storage, maybe that should be okay, but you should sell it during the summer. Unfortunately, with so many of them being bought, well, not that many, but still, there's still a lot. If you were to sell it now, you'd probably just barely get your money back. It's going to get worse. So, I don't feel correct with that one. But I feel like I definitely put that. Basically, I said if you want to buy something that's going to retain its value, that would look okay. And then everything else, gold chains, leather gloves, I was curious about. The other skins, not so much. So, very straightforward answer there. That has done okay. It's only up by 5%. If you bought that now, you will not be able to sell that for a profit. No. So, yeah. And then, I wasn't confident in the furnace, wasn't confident in the garage door. Even though we did get an immediate continuation, still, that's gone down by 30%. That Black Diamond Thompson did kind of okay. He's not really doing that good, but he did kind of okay. He's only down by 20%, only. Unfortunately, the gloves did go down by 21%. I was conflicted because we didn't see any leather gloves in a long time. Maybe that does graciously rise up in price as time goes on, during like post-Christmas and next year's summer, because, well, maybe there's a lot of them being listed. But now I'm looking at it and realise there's only 38 of them on the Steam market at the moment. Maybe people just don't like them. All right, well, you can't answer everything, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'll sit there and say I was wrong with that. But, I remember this. There's so many other options that could have been picked, and, well, there's those two. So yeah, everything here kind of matching up to expectation, it seems. So we'll move on to the next week, the June Force Wipe, where we got the likes of the Chameleon Tier 2. Wow, yes, we're quite happy about that one. So hopping back over to here, looking at my predictions with all of these skins. Neon Med Small Storage, again, same thing. Guys, it's going to be a pretty okay skin. We're going to probably get more of these. We're very likely potentially going to see the Spike Demand, Spike Price with new ones appearing. That didn't really happen, but sticking with this, right? Yeah, Meds. It's still another questionable one. In fact, let's just quickly go take a look at it. What's your position now? Only up by 9%. Yeah, I still worry for you. I've only stuck with buy orders on the small boxes. I feel like that's the smart way to go about it. I'm sure you understand that. And then what was the other skins I discussed? Have you gone all the way back here again? Sorry. So back over to here with the likes of the tempered sheet metal door. Oh, sheet metal door. Oh dear, oh dear. I said in the long term that would very likely work out very well. But I will not be surprised in the slightest if that slightly dips in price. Lo and behold, as we look over to here, oh dear. Oh dear. It's already happened. Because we got another one, didn't we? And Twitch drops. Oh dear. So yeah, that's not too surprising. I was also thinking maybe Chameleon Tier 2 could work out quite alright, because on the horizon maybe we could expect the likes of a jacket. Maybe we could expect those boots to finally appear. Complete the sets. Who knows? Maybe. Possibly. Well, I mean, yeah, that kind of happened. Went down in price. Yeah. I believe I just said stick with a buy order for that. So, awkward. Yeah. So... not good. That Rustore, it was interesting, but we're kind of matching up the expectations of, in the near future, about 2 months away, the autumn fall seasonal dip gets closer and closer. We have to be a little bit more skeptical, cautious, and yeah, so I'm sure you understand most of the stuff I've been yapping about now. So yeah, that was pretty much matching expectations. Wasn't fully confident in Juggernaut Sheet Metal Door. Watcher Doom Large Box, wasn't really sure. Ice Eye Tools, you're interesting, but I thought you'd still lose your value and whatnot, and evidently that's basically what happened. So everything basically matched expectations there. Now we have the likes of last week's Rustore. So we're kind of in the position now, it's like, can we really look at all these skins and kind of really sit here and say that, everything's matched expectations? I can't, because this hasn't even had a week where we've let it, cool off a bit, because everybody who bought these skins hasn't had the ability to sell them yet. Some people wait until the very last day, then bought them. So they can't sell this yet. You've usually got to wait at least a week or two, then look at the skins, then get a good idea of where their values are and whatnot. So I don't think I can continue this now. I can finally stop. I'm so sorry for all those people that sat around and listened to me throughout all of this yapping session. But overall, guesses, estimates, it's all based on experience. I've seen many things like this in the past. Certain things do basically follow trends. Some of them don't. Some of them are really weird. You know, like I said with the garage door, I thought, oh, well, that's quite surprising. With the sushi, phases ramen shop garage door, we'll see it in a second. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, well, yeah, that's basically everything then. Overall, I think most things I've got quite alright. Playing it safe does work out ever so nicely. If you commit to it, stick with it, it can work out nicely. But yeah, I have been wrong in certain instances. So, you know, I mean, you can slap me if you want. But yeah, if you do play things safely with every week, you're most likely going to walk away with some reasonable profits here and there. If you just keep gradually, raising money and earning profit and whatnot, are you going to complain? Are you? But yeah, certain things, unfortunately, which I bought didn't work out instantly. But I know in most instances, a lot of these things are going to likely be long-term investments, especially with what's on the horizon. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I went a little bit too in-depth with all the videos. But just remember with these predictions videos, I put them in order of what I feel most confident in, and if it has a question mark, by default, it at least is something where I'm very unsure, or 50-50. So, and it's usually also an instance of you're probably just going to stick with doing a buy order, which for a lot of these skins right now is going to be the case. We're just going to stick with doing buy orders. So yeah, because if you're going to walk away with not losing too much funds, that's going to be the smarter option. And that's the draft store right now. Not selling that much, because we've been seeing a lot of these skins, a lot of these items getting tons of skins this year. I think we need to see some variation. I'd love to see Face Punch introduce more skinnable items. The last skinnable items to be introduced, L96 and Roadside Gloves, 3 years ago. So, you know, where's my salvaged hatchets? Where's my, my skinnable beds? I want a race car bed. Gimme. There's plenty of other things. Yes, I know we have the DLC with the TCs and whatnot. Let the skin creators have the ability to make skins for them and whatnot. That'd be interesting. That'd be nice, but not yet. Right. Cool. Feel free to comment below if you made profit or loss so far this year. I would have expected you probably sold some skins during the likes this summer. I have. I've done a pretty decent job. I mean, you saw my money earlier. Yeah, that's been adding up. I've got a lot of buy order limit prepared for if we have a random Counter-Strike operation dropping. And that's going to be another video. So, yeah, cool. I really do yap, don't I? But, you know, you should expect that by now. And also, don't forget, everything's always going to be in the description as a chapter. So if you just skip ahead, cool. So, yeah, cool. Thank you very much for watching me. Thank you very much for putting up with me. I greatly appreciate it. I've lost my voice. Oh, now. Catch you later, bye.